from the Stony Hill Primary School to the platform as she delivers a cultural item. Please give her a hand and make her welcome.
Special Me by Eden Colin Williams. I am special. I am unique. I am loved, even if I squeak. I don't have to sit and moan. I always feel I belong. When with my group, I sing a song. I feel great in my family and so proud to be a part of this country. I hope you feel as special as me in this land where we all can be free. I am a part of a group, that school. No wonder I tried to obey each rule. I could not exchange it for anything. I am special, and what joy to my heart it brings. You know, system unique.
I was just settling down for the rest of it. That was great, Rochelle. Thank you. All right, at this time, I have the pleasure of inviting a leader who is astute, a leader who is compassionate, a leader who is empathetic, a leader who cares, a leader who's here, there, and everywhere. He just returned from Panama yesterday from representing Jamaica at CAF, and he's here today to hand over this home to this beautiful family. And so today I have the great pleasure of inviting to address us our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Allow me to acknowledge your Member of Parliament, the hard-working Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security and Peace. Allow me also to acknowledge your counselor, who has been your long-serving and hard-working counselor. I've known Tasha for many years, and Tasha hasn't aged a bit. Of course, my permanent secretary, who I didn't know you were from this area. Representatives from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, the representatives from the police, representatives from the media, and of course, you, the wonderful people of Brooks Level Road in West Rural St. Andrew in the lovely town of Stony Hill. And Seaview Road, which is just... And I have to also acknowledge the beneficiaries of these lovely multi-family homes that have been constructed here. Now, just to give some context, this is being done under a program called the New Social Housing Program. And what is social housing? Social housing is the provision of housing solution by the government to worthy beneficiaries, either partially subsidized or fully subsidized. And what do we mean by subsidy? It means that the beneficiary gets the benefit, which is the house, for a price that is not fully the cost of the house, or they pay nothing for the cost of the house. it doesn't mean that the house is free. Somebody pays for it. Who pays for it? Everybody. Everybody pays for it. It's your tax that pays for the house. So then why should somebody get it at half price or no cost at all? Why? They get it because when you pay your taxes, you are saying the government must provide services with the taxes. And some of these services that are provided would be your garbage collection. Now, this raises a controversial issue, which I'm going to just tease it. How is garbage collection paid for? It's directly almost connected to your property tax. But if somebody don't pay their property tax, the garbage shouldn't be collected. Think about it. But because there is a social issue there, that if you leave the garbage uncollected, you're going to have a health problem, no? So really, everybody should pay their property taxes so that the garbage can be collected. But are you not going to collect the garbage for the people who don't pay? Because you're going to have a social issue. It's called a public good. So too, families who have nowhere to live. Elderly people who have nowhere to live because they can't afford a house mean they shouldn't get it. That is why it's called social housing. It is the social consciousness of the people that set a standard of what nobody should live below. That says we should use our taxes to maintain that standard at everybody. Now, this is called an aspiration, meaning something that we all want to do, but we don't always do it. Because there are a whole heap of people still in Jamaica who want to get a house, they can't afford it. And there are still many places where we are not able to collect the garbage efficiently. But we are aspiring to do this. We are putting the programs in place. We use your taxes to buy more garbage trucks, to build more houses. We're not doing it at the pace that you would like. Not because of negligence, inefficiency, or corruption. Clearly, there are those issues involved. But the real issue is that our economy isn't growing as fast, so that we are getting the level of taxes that can deliver the level of social services that match our aspirations, what we would like to see, our ambitions as a people. But it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. And so for many Jamaicans looking on, it is a matter of perception versus perspective. They look at the cup with the water in it. And for some, they look at the cup and they say the cup is half empty. And for others, they will say the cup is half full. But it all depends where you're casting your eyes. If you're looking to the bottom of the glass, then it is half empty. But if your eyes are cast up and you're looking to the top, to aspire to the top, then the cup is half full. And the outlook determines your destination. Because if you're focused down and looking down, that's where you're heading. If you're looking up, that's where you're heading. And that is the contention in the country. Some people have a very negative view, and that's where they're heading. Others have a very positive view, and that's where they're heading. So I said to all Jamaicans, things may not be what we want them to be, but what you have to judge is the direction of travel. And on all metrics of how the country is performing, we are heading in the right direction. We are heading up. We are matching our efforts to our aspirations. And it is very important that the national mood remains positive. Because people say, I talk almost every speech I give, I talk about the economy as if I don't pay attention to the emotional things, the social things, the spiritual things. Thank you, Evangelist, for your wonderful prayer. Of course, I pay attention to all of that. But there are some people who feel that the economy is just a cold, hard place that doesn't care about them and that they are not a part of it. Not true. The economy involves everybody. Everybody here is a part of it. And how you think, how you act as economic agents determines the economic outlook and outcome. If you are positive, if you are innovative, if you are law-abiding, if you are caring, then you will have a growing economy that caters for all the people. That's productive. And that's what we want to do. So the new social housing program is designed to focus on those persons in our society who don't have any income, so they wouldn't be able to afford a mortgage to purchase a house. They are elderly. Some people are retired. They used to do domestic work. They don't have any pension to get. Maybe they paid some NIS, so they get a little something every month. Now we have put in a program called the social pension, where if you weren't working and you didn't contribute to NIS, you get a little something a month time. It may not be a lot, but from 0 to 1 is a whole heap of percentage increase that. Half empty or half full. So the program is designed to focus on those people, pregnant and lactating mothers who have nowhere to live. In this specific case, we also focus on persons who are homeless because of either some environmental issues, flood come and wash out the house, or the gully bank, which nobody should be living at, any gully bank, collapse and the house gone. Or in this case, house destroyed by fire. There are 3 families, I gather, who were made homeless. They lived here where we are, and their house was destroyed by fire, I believe, in 2023. And many of them had to live in the destroyed premises. It must have been a harrowing experience for them. Your member of parliament would have seen the situation, and she would have applied to the new social housing program. Now, what the program does, the program has to first justify that the people who are benefiting from the house now actually deserve the benefit. Because I keep saying to this, you have some people, they're not needy, they're just greedy. And they will do everything to pretend that they are needy, but they don't really need it. They're just greedy. So the program has a very robust system of beneficiary identification. So they go through and they do what is called a social investigation. They go to the communities, they talk to the community members, and they say, is it really true that this person has no income. They're not working. They are shut in. They can't afford a house. They check that there really was a fire that burned down the house. And it's not somebody burned down the house to get a house. Anyway, you understand why we have to check, because it's your taxpayer money, because you have a conscience that says people should be living in a minimum standard. And so we have to make sure that the circumstances match what you would consider as a legitimate cause. And once we establish that, then the second thing we have to establish is where can we build the house. Now, this program does not have land. We have no land. What we do, which distinguishes us from the NHT or the HAJ or any other arm of government that is building houses, right? We have no land. And I want that to be clear. And so when we build anything on land that doesn't belong to us, what we build doesn't belong to us, doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to the people who own the land. So you remember that lie that they were telling about, that the government going to take, why the people them lying, sir? But a lot of people don't understand, and that is why I have to take my time and go into the details and explain, because ignorance wicked out there, you know. People just hear things and run with it and don't stop 2 minutes to just check it out. So we don't have no land in the program. So the land that is we are building on here don't belong to the government. So another issue now, before we can build, we have to check out who owns the land, because the government can't just go build on people land without permission. Okay? Now, if the beneficiary doesn't own the land, then we say to the beneficiary, listen now, go and get permission. And in these circumstances where it is a tenement, as we say in Jamaica, tenement yard situation, big yard, there are 3 families, 12 individuals living on this small plot of land. I am not aware of the circumstances if one of the families owned the land or they got permission or somebody owned it, passed away, and they were living there and they have been just living there for years. I don't know what the circumstances is. But what I do know is that we are not going to put one block on the land until we have something in writing that we can carry to court that protects the interests of the beneficiary and your money as taxpayers. Because can you imagine? We build on the land, give it to the beneficiary, and then the owner turn up and say, no. This is my land, and therefore this lovely house is my house. The person who you as the taxpayer wanted to get the house wouldn't get it, because by law, the house belongs to the person who owned the land. So that's why we go through a very rigorous process, and it sometimes takes a long time to ensure that we know who owns the land and there is permission to use the land and permission for the beneficiary to occupy the structure that is placed on the land. And so we would have crossed that hurdle. Now, once we cross that hurdle, then we have to check the land to see that we can actually build on the land, because not every piece of land should be built on or can be built on. We have a view in Jamaica that you can build on any piece of land. So people go and build on Gully Bank, they go and build in river course, some go and build in the river itself, some build on slope like this. We are very skilled engineers when it comes to that. But in today's world, where the weather is becoming more of a factor in human habitation and the safety of human habitation. We cannot continue to just build anywhere and build anyhow. Nobody can tell me about the need for shelter and for proper housing. I understand that. And what has happened in Jamaica is that the overriding need to find somewhere to live has escalated much faster than the ability of the government to provide affordable opportunities for people to achieve formal housing. So informality has just run wild. What informality does, irregular settlement of land and squatting, is to place a limit on the potential and proper development of your area. I don't know if you know this, but if you go into a community that has been informally settled, when you go and say, I'm ready to formalize and regularize this community, nothing is left for road. No space there for people to have any recreation. No little park can go there. Everybody put their boundary here, this there, house catch up beside each other. Chaos. You can't bring water go there. It's a cobweb for electricity wires. And then it's a headache. In other words, what it would cost to have formally laid out this community would be far more to go and regularize the community after it is informally settled. And what we have been doing as an administration is to try to speed up the formal development so that people don't have to go and settle communities informally, and to bring them in at a kind of reasonable price, and to provide the social housing for those who just have no opportunity to own a piece of land or a piece of house in Jamaica. That's what we've been working towards. Now, the new social housing program has a benefit to it that we don't speak of too much. But every one of these houses that we have built acts as a symbol, an example of how we should seek to construct housing in communities. Notice, when you drive on this road, the first house you're going to see is this one. The first house you're going to look at is that one, because it is aesthetically appealing. You don't have to have rundown house in inner city or low income communities. You don't have to build shacks. You can build things that are pleasing. Now listen to me. When you put up structures that are aesthetically pleasing, it lifts the area. It lifts how you feel. It lifts how the built environment looks. And you feel better about yourself and your community. So I'm certain that a lot of people now are going to be looking at this and say, I wonder if I can do something similar. So it begins to improve the standard. Just that one house will begin to improve the standard. Because every lot on this road could potentially have a structure that look like that. This structure is accommodating all the people who lived there before comfortably. No hurricane can blow that down. Right? That is a strong structure. So what we are doing with the new social housing program is trying to also lift the standard of housing design and construction for the average person. And we won't be able to, do this all over Jamaica, but we are certainly going to do it as far as we can with as many people as we can. So I know there are other people saying, when will it be my time? I want one too. I know, my dear, I know. So the good news is that we're going to expand the program. We're going to build it at scale. We're going to increase the budget for it. We now have a very good system. We understand how to do it. We have over 80 units now under construction. We're going to rapidly expand that next year. Over 1,000 persons have benefited from this. More than that, but we estimate it according to who we have had as the beneficiaries. But it is probably one of the most successful programs of government in housing. This particular house is part of what we call the big yard, tenement yard upgrading. And we have about 4 projects now under the tenement yard program. So this is a small 7. Sorry, we have 7. This is a small tenement with 3 in downtown Kingston, in central Kingston. We have a project with 21 families in an area that for many years was neglected. And I'm sure when that is open, those 21 families that were living in substandard conditions, they will be happy. I have 2 in my constituency. that they're going on quite fine. And there is one, I believe, in Minister Tufton, St. Catherine, West Central. And there's one going on in East Central. And there are a couple others around. And we're going to be doing more, right? Listen, there will come a time in Jamaica where we improve the housing stock to have every house built solidly, properly, in a formal structure, that you can have a title to your house, that it becomes an asset for your family, that you can pass down from generation to generation. Every day there is something new and better happening in Jamaica to replace, under this government, every day, every single day, that is replacing what is broken and bad in Jamaica. We need to increase the pace of it for us to transform Jamaica. But I must end my presentation by saying to you, 10 years ago, Jamaica was considered the murder capital of the region. Today, I am telling you that this month will be the lowest month in murders for several decades. That's a big transformation. Big, don't make nobody tell you nothing. Big transformation. And everybody benefits from peace. Everybody benefits from peace. Ten years ago or more, unemployment was 13.odd%. Today, unemployment, the last figures was 3.1. No doubt after Hurricane Melissa, it might have a little bump up, but we'll get back down again. Right? The people don't remember that. The debt of the country was way up to 150, almost 151% at one point of GDP. Now, we would have reached our 60%. Well, we were almost 60% before Hurricane Melissa. It's going to bump up a little bit, but we're going to get back down. Let's not say the cup is half empty. Every day, drop by drop, we are filling up our cup. And God will continue to bless us, and our blessings will overflow. Give God thanks. Blessings.
In his former life, our prime minister was a teacher. He was our minister of education. And there was a time when he was also going to be a preacher. Today, I think we can say that he has preached, and I would say teached, but I can't say teached. I have to say taught. But he has done both. So please give him another round of applause. This morning, I was speaking to a number of the beneficiaries, and they expressed their gratefulness through tears of joy and a general attitude of gratitude. So, to bring the vote of thanks on behalf of all the beneficiaries, I invite Tristan Barkley.
Um, Good morning. Good morning, Miss Gillette Cockbird.